Testing. 1, 2, 3. Is this working? Okay, sorry for the delay there. So far it doesn't appear if anybody's on here except me as the host, but hopefully some folks will join on in a few minutes. So maybe some others will watch the archive version of this later. But greetings all, this is the J-Man from Metal Sharks, and this is the debut of our live stream. And we're going to do a brief coin roll hunt and then hopefully give away a silver Roosevelt design dime toward the end of the stream, provided that we have some participants other than myself. So anyhow, let's get started here, and I guess the first, hey, Scrapping, Hoarding, Tinkering Fun is in the house. You're the first one to join us. Thanks for being on here. Really glad you're here. So we're getting ready to do a brief coin roll hunt. This is our debut of a live stream for the Metal Sharks channel. So hopefully we'll get a few more folks on here pretty soon. All right, so you can hear me okay so far? I'm kind of new at this, so I'm hoping it's working out okay. Okay, so for starters, I just wanted to remember that, kind of on a more serious note, that today, of course, is the 18th anniversary of the horrific terrorist attacks on September 11th, 2001. And these attacks killed nearly 3,000 Americans and visitors, maybe people from other countries too, who were at the Twin Towers that day. And about more than 6,000 people were injured. And today flags have been flying at half-staff all across the United States. So on that note, I wanted to see if we could have just kind of a moment of silence. And this is a flag at half-staff at a hotel where I'm staying on a business trip. Okay, so we'll never forget that anniversary, but now let's go ahead and get started, and hopefully some more people will get on soon. And so basically what I was hoping to do was, was hoping to welcome everybody who comes on here. So if some more folks come on soon, then we'll give them a welcome and an introduction. And open the first coin of these pennies I got at a bank not too long ago. And then talk about some metal detecting events that are coming up in Florida where our channel is based, but then see if anyone else has metal detecting or other hobbying events coming up. And then we'll have some other shout outs and other announcements as we go along. So for starters, let's see. I guess these all, not much difference here, but I think I'll start with this one here. And I'll probably go through these kind of quickly because this stream is scheduled for about 30 minutes. And my eyes sometimes don't always pick up the years very well, so I don't want to take too long doing that. But of course, we're looking for things like wheat pennies from, I believe, 1909 to about, I don't know if it was 58 or 59, but I think it's right around there. Let's see if there's any wheat pennies in this roll, or there could be pennies from the life of Abraham Lincoln that came out in 2009. So I always like to find those. Or the third thing that I usually look for would be pennies that would be from 1982 or earlier, because they have a copper melt value, although technically you're not supposed to melt pennies, but I think some people do it for jewelry and things like that. But one day it may be more allowed, so I'm looking for those and setting those aside. So anyhow, oh yeah, maybe there's some Canadians in here. That would be really cool. And so, let's see, that's a more recent one, so no help. And so, let's see, kind of go through some of these quickly, but if there's a pretty good looking one, we'll try to get a year on it. 1990, no help. Let's see. Now here's a 1961, so I'm going to kind of set that up here. That's not bad. And let's see. So I'm kind of going through these pretty fast, but the other thing I wanted to talk about in a few minutes is maybe if there are any metal detecting or other hobbying events coming up in different areas, like here in Florida, where Metal Sharks is based in North Florida, and we don't have any metal detecting clubs. So I'm kind of bummed about that. But I found out recently there's one in the Ocala, Florida area, which is only about 3 hours away. And there's also another one in Central Florida that's pretty active. Here's a penny from 1980. So I'm going to keep that one. So one thing I wanted to mention is there is a seeded hunt coming up, and it's sponsored by the Middle Florida Metal Detecting Club. It's coming up this Sunday in Hernando, Florida from 3 to 6 p.m. And I think they're going to have about $300 in silver there. And so I'm going to try to show an ad for that in a little bit. But I'm hoping to be at that, and if there are any other channels that come on the stream before we're over, or maybe watch this later and are wanting to meet there and do a collaboration, I think that would be really cool. So how about you, scrapping, hoarding, tinkering fun? Do you have anything coming up in your neck of the woods? Just throw that in the chat if you do. So sometimes I keep pennies that are from one of my high school years, to be honest. I don't want to really date myself, but sometimes I do that. Here's a 69 Denver, so I'm going to set that aside. Wow, that's neat, scrapping, hoarding. I hope you can get out there and try some of those awesome sites. And so, about what part of the country or state are you from? Oh yeah, and you need gear. Yeah, that's another issue. Yeah, and it kind of depends on how much you might want to get into metal detecting, because for one thing, if you're just doing it a little bit, I think you can get a more modestly priced detector, and maybe a Bounty Hunter or a White's Treasure Pro. Yeah, I'm not sure the exact price. This penny here was a 71, so that's actually pretty good. So, you're located in Delaware. That's good. Yeah, you've got some good places near you, and one thing that's coming up is an event called Pound the Ground. I believe it's in late October, and so that's going to be in upper New York State. So I've been kind of bumming a little bit about it. I'm glad for the people that can go, but that's so far from where I am that it would be hard to fly in there and be able to do that kind of a trip. And I think the nearest airport is still maybe an hour or two from where the Pound the Ground metal detecting event will be. So I don't think I can go to that one, but some of the channels I subscribe to, like Digging Canuck, Liz is going to that, so I'm looking forward to seeing, maybe doing it vicariously through other channels and kind of watching what they do there. Okay, so this is the first roll in what we found so far, and just to kind of pause for a minute, I wanted to pull up this information about this event coming up. Let's see. So this is more information here. Hopefully you can see that okay. So it's a seated hunt, open for all, is sponsored by the Ocala Metal Detecting Club. And so there's the basic information on it. I believe at this point it costs $10 to get in, and I'm hoping I can join that club even though I live a few hours away. But it does say open to all, and I've been in a little bit of touch with them, so I'm going to definitely sign up for it after this stream. But it looks like it'll be a lot of fun, and it'll be the first time myself, or I might be able to have others, excuse me, have my dad or my brother, who also participate in the Metal Sharks channel, go with me. So I'm checking in with them to see if they want to go. But there you have it. That's going to be a fun event that's coming right up. And hopefully I can do a video on that afterwards. Now, just briefly, before the next opening up the next coin roll, I wanted to mention that another metal detecting event and kind of a party and event is coming up, and I think it's associated with Myers Metal Detecting, and it'll be September 27th and 28th in the St. Petersburg, Florida area. So right now I'm not sure if I can go, but if I can, I might try to go to that one too. But I'm hoping some of the other channels that subscribe that are based in Florida will be able to go to that one. And I'll try to get more information on it. That's all I have right now are the dates. But I think if you go to the Myers Metal Detecting Facebook page or website, he's based in Central Florida, or I think in the St. Pete, Tampa area, then you can find out a lot more about that event coming up. So that should be another good one. Okay, so that's pretty much it for those things coming up. But now, yeah, I think I will definitely think I'll try to go. Thanks for the encouragement. I should go to that Central Florida event because actually I've been metal detecting, I think, for about only a couple years now, and I've never gone to something like that. So I think it would be a lot of fun. It'd be a great chance to get to meet other people that like this hobby. And actually I've tried at least 3 or 4 different times to do a collaboration with other channels, but so far the dates just haven't worked out at all. So maybe this will be the charm this time, and we can finally get a good collaboration, plus I can be part of this event. Maybe some other channels like Florida Thunder with Rob would be able to go, so I'm going to try to check with him. Okay, 87, some shinier ones, 2017, no help. 1982, we'll put that up there. 79. 85. Well, I guess, let's see. We'll see how things go with the second roll. Not sure if I should do all 3 rolls or just go ahead and do the giveaway and name you the winner. So right now it doesn't look like anybody else is getting on. And I'm not sure if I knew how to do this live stream right, like how to post it on our Metal Sharks page. And so I don't know how it displayed, like for other channels to see. But I'm told that it was in the feed of my dad, who's a YouTube subscriber to Metal Sharks. So I guess it was available, but maybe I need to give more time for the next one, like a week's notice. But I'm also trying to figure out what the best time and day of the week might be to do a live stream. Yeah, I'll have to weigh those 1982s. That's a good point, because I have a digital scale somewhere. My 2 boys used to be in the Boy Scouts or the Cub Scouts, and they used to do the Pinewood Derby. So I had this digital scale to weigh their wooden Pinewood Derby cars and get them to a really good weight, so hopefully they could do well in the races, the Derby races. So if I could find that again, I could probably weigh these 82s and find out if any of them are special ones. Like you say, that I'll have to do a little research on that, but that would be fun to try to do, and maybe make a video out of it. Learn more about it that way. Well, these are a lot more modern ones in this roll. It's looking like not really finding coppers in this roll, so that one went by pretty fast. Okay. Yeah, I probably missed an 82, so I'll have to go back through these other ones and look at them more closely. I might have missed some other good things, because it's hard to do two things at once. Oh, and actually, I still had a little bit more of that roll that I hadn't gotten out of the roll yet. So let's give it a whirl. Maybe there'll be something good in this fragment of the roll. I tell you, I'm on this business trip and have free time in the evenings like now. But to do this live stream, I turned the air conditioning off because the desk is right near the air conditioning unit, and I was afraid that would be all that the people watching the live stream would hear, is that air conditioner going off. So it's starting to get kind of hot, as you can imagine. Huh. Only 5 coppers in your last one. And that was a whole box. Wow. Huh. Yeah. That's pretty wild. I'm starting to think that with all the people doing coin roll hunting on YouTube, that it's getting harder to find things like wheat pennies even. I think you can still find some good pennies and maybe an occasional Indian head. But here's a nice one, a 63 Denver, as you can see. So set that one aside. Here's a 71 Denver. And so while we're doing this, I just want to mention briefly, sometimes when people get into YouTube and they start a channel, or maybe they're just a subscriber to different channels and they don't make content, sometimes people have more than one hobby. And so that one's 1986, so that's a high school year for me. So I'm going to keep that one. But some people that have these channels also have another hobby they're interested in, and they start a second channel, or they help other family members to do so. So for Metal Sharks, my dad, John Long Silver, who's been featured on our channel, he has another channel called John Long's Silver Rails, and this is actually how you spell it. John Long's Silver Rails, R-A-I-L-Z. So at any rate, if you get a chance, check out that channel. He's only got like 20 or 30 subscribers, and the channel is all about model railroading, but especially classic Lionel, Marx, and American Flyer toy trains. And my dad and I have been involved in that hobby for many years, and I remember my dad and I going to train shows when I was growing up. And so my dad has this great layout, and he does these great projects where he gets affordable trains, sometimes, $5 or $10 for a freight car or something, and he fixes them up and makes something really nice out of a beat up old train that was neglected over the years. So it's a neat channel, and it's also got accessories that go with the toy trains, the Lionel O gauge and S gauge American Flyer. So give it a look if you get a chance, and subscribe if you like it. But that's a shout out for him. Well, that's neat. You're an HO scale fan. Well, we're definitely going to have some HO featured on John Long Silver Rails, because I've actually got footage from the Big Bend Model Railroad Association's train show this past June in North Florida, and there was an HO layout there, but we've got that in the hopper, so that should come out pretty soon. And then there's a Disney layout and then other neat train layouts. And my dad and I actually kind of crossed over in our hobby of metal detecting with a scene that we did to pay tribute to a World War II training site in Florida. So we did a scene at the June train show about Camp Gordon Johnston. And there were troops there that trained for the D-Day invasion of Normandy, France from around 1943 through 45. And I actually found a 50 caliber shell that was on St. George Island where troops had trained for amphibious invasions in Normandy, and then getting ready for the battle in the Pacific as well. So we did a pretty cool scene about that, and we have a video up on John Long's Silver Rails. Okay, so how are we doing? We've got 10 more minutes on the scheduled stream, so I guess I better pull out this other roll of pennies. And for a second I thought maybe somebody else had joined the chat. I thought maybe I had seen another, but maybe that was another notification that was coming in and not somebody joining our stream. So anyways, I'm glad we at least have one on here. And maybe somebody else will come in late, you never know. And then of course there's people who might watch the archived version later. And hopefully we can get this, we can improve from here and figure out what format works and learn this. I'm using an app called Streamlabs, so it's only like the second time that I've used it. So it's kind of trial and error approach, but for me, I kind of do the trial and error approach, and then I also try to watch YouTube videos to try to figure out how to do things like this, and it seems to work pretty good. 75 Denver, let's set that aside in our good pile. This one looks okay. 74 Philly, no mint mark. 95, no help. So I'm not sure if there's going to be any Wheaties in here. 87, 77. You know, I'm kind of going through these a little bit too fast, and I didn't really look very good for 2009s. So I'll definitely have to look for those after this stream is over, look more closely, because sometimes I forget to look for those, and I just lump them in with the other shiny ones and just set them aside. Huh. Yeah. I don't know if you set aside pennies from your high school graduation year, but I like to do that, especially if they're in good shape. I guess I'm kind of nostalgic that way. And it's something else to collect since I'm going through these anyways. That one was a 73, I forgot to say. Or the 75. And I got to remember not to keep putting my other hand in the way. Let's see. I think it might be better more like this. Got to remember where the camera is. Oh, your birth year. Okay. Got you there. Didn't want to make you a lot older than you really are. Yeah, I have a brother who was born in 1976. So even before I knew anything about coin roll hunting, I forgot to say that was a 75 there. I used to set aside bicentennial quarters for him and sometimes give him a hole. I would get like a Kodak film case that was empty, and it was just the right size. One of these black film cases with a gray lid, and you could put quarters in there. And then I would give it to him for his birthday or for Christmas, a whole bunch of bicentennial quarters. And I think even today, they made so many of those that they're not really worth anything, I guess, but maybe face value. But I still try to set those aside. Okay, there's a 64. Let's set that one aside. 2018, real shiny. Wow, that's neat to make a copper sandcast out of 75 pennies. I have a family member by marriage who's a young man who's good at doing 3D printing and then making jewelry of different types. So I was thinking about, excuse me, I was thinking about working with him to see if he could make a some kind of metal detecting necklace, you know, with a double D coil. And if he does, we might be able to give some of those away on our Metal Sharks channel. And we might also be able to give away stickers pretty soon. We're hoping to order stickers with our logo on it. Well, that's all the penny rolls I brought with me on this trip. And so in a minute, we'll probably declare you the winner unless somebody else joins on and we actually have a drawing. And I don't want to monopolize too much of your time. But let's see. So just briefly, I wanted to show something. Well, first let's kind of do a wrap-up, I guess. So that was 3 rolls of pennies, and it looks like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21 of them were mostly copper, 1982 or earlier, and I think the oldest one was a 1961. So that's not bad for 3 rolls, and we'll take it. You know, that's decent. So anyhow, when we get those channel stickers made, we'll be sure to send us an email. We'll be sure to get you one. And the other thing I wanted to show just briefly, and then we'll wrap this up, is this is a, let's see if I can get this over here. Okay. So this is a laminated sheet from Quinn's Coins, and I did a test live stream the other day. Hey, that's interesting that the current copper value is 1.7 cents. I wasn't sure what it was. I thought it might be somewhere between 2 and 3 cents, but I guess it's a little bit lower than that, so that's interesting. But anyhow, these are the pennies that were found in 2 other rolls that I opened on this trip. And let me see if I can find my notes about what they were. Let's see, sorry about that. Can't find the notes right now. So anyhow, 1961 was the oldest, and the 1961 right there, if you can see it, it has kind of a strange looking D, like maybe the D got damaged over the years. And then there's some from the 70s. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 from the 70s and 4 from the 80s. And so that's what I found in the first 2 rolls. And then also I found this 1953 nickel. That was the only good nickel because I opened 1 roll of nickels. So I wanted to save it just because it's older. And then lastly, I had some pocket change and on this trip, and I was looking through it, and it turns out it's one of the Lewis and Clark, I think, nickels. So I'm also glad to find those in change. And so I actually had some change with me because I had a low tire on the way out of town, and I was checking my tire. And then I had some leftover coins, and so that was one of them. But at any rate, scrapping, hoarding, tinkering fun. Thanks for being on this stream, and I have a Roosevelt design die from the early 1950s that I would like to send you. And if you could just send me your mailing address, and this is my email address, the best way to reach me by email. So it's jamieth@yahoo.com. But if you could send me your best mailing address, then I can get that coin off to you. Hey, John Long Silver is on here. Greetings. How's it going? We gave a shout out to your channel earlier in the stream, and so we're just now wrapping up. But that's pretty much it. I don't want to keep people too long, but let's see if there's anything else, any other announcements before we end this stream. Yeah, let us know if you have any input on what day of the week or how long the live stream should be. Or maybe we should just pick like a day like, Wednesday and just say first Wednesday or third Wednesday of the month. Just do it once a month. So if you have any input like that, just let us know. And let's see, what else? Now, I'll be sure to check out your, do you have a channel, Scrapping, Hoarding, Tinkering Fun? I think you do. And I'll be sure to check it out pretty soon. A little bit more. I think I might have looked at it some time ago, but I'll try to see what some of your latest videos are pretty soon. And this is the last part, and then we're going a little bit over time, so sorry about that. But what I'll do is just a few last things. These are some upcoming projects that we have in the hopper at Metal Sharks, and then we'll let everybody go and end this live stream. So we have plans to go to Wakulla, Florida, and do some research on the Battle of Natural Bridge. And I believe my dad, John Long Silver, who's in this stream, might have some good footage of reenactments they've done over the years. And so that won't, of course, we can't metal detect there. That's a federal park, I believe. We could only metal detect maybe at a private homeowner if they gave us permission that might be near that area, but we don't have that yet. So thanks, John Long Silver. He says, we often find Canadians, Panama coins, Bahama coins, in Florida coin rolls. He said exclude him from the drawing, but keep trying the live chat. So that's good. We'll definitely do that. So thanks, Dad. So anyhow, we will be working on a video about the history of the Battle of Natural Bridge, which is probably more of a skirmish than a battle, but it was one of the few Civil War skirmishes in Florida. And so we want to learn more about that and do a brief video. And then we've got some leads about St. George Island. And if you've been following our channel for a while, you'll probably realize that St. George Island is a very special place for different reasons to our channel, and we really love going there. But I actually have a lead on a part of the island that I think might be a really good place to find more World War II training relics. So if there are any other channels that watch this later on and want to do a collaboration, I'm willing to share my idea with them, and we could maybe do a collaboration video together and see if we can find that part of the island where there's more 50 caliber Browning machine gun shells and things like that. Casings, that is. Shell casings. And then one last thing would be we want to do a model build. So I think it's a Revell model kit, and it's a 1/48 scale PBY Catalina flying boat. We want to do a video about that and put that on John Long's silver rails. And the reason for that, just briefly, is my grandfather was a career Navy officer, and during World War II he served in the Panama Canal Zone. And so he was, I believe, in the tail section looking for